Okay, folks, I no longer have a production assistant. I'm going to make sure his camera's running. Okay, the camera's running. So, you basically, I would imagine most people go to these folks because a friend has recommended it. Now, I know a lot of us, for instance, if a friend recommended something to me, I'm going to anticipate that it's going to be a positive experience. Because I like my friend, and my friend would only tell me to seek treatment or what have you. Even a simple thing like a movie, if a friend recommends a movie, even if you think it's a real stinker, your overall evaluation of the film may be a little different just because your friend told you. Because a lot of times we would want to say to our friend, geez, I just spent $10 to go to that stupid movie that you said was great. So there's going to be some influence, at least on the early go-round, so to speak, because our friend has recommended this, okay? Or maybe you've read about it. You've heard all this exotic stuff about, Eastern medicine and this, that, and the other, and it's all mysterious and so on and so forth. So there's some of that going also. So there's a real good chance once you go in and meet this person, and I'm sure that most of them are pretty personable kind of people, and they spend a whole lot of time with you and listen to you and all that kind of mess, and then mess around with you, and they have a nice quiet environment. There's a real good chance that subjectively, no cuff, but subjectively, that you're going to feel better when you get out of there. Now, so that sort of, I think, possibly addresses what I wanted to with Lucas's comment to me. Now, let's go a little further on this. Now, let's suppose you start going to this energy healer routinely, and maybe they aren't acting as your primary care physician, but you're going to see them with just about everything. You have an ache and a pain or whatever, you have a little nausea, you have this, you have a little diarrhea or whatever, aches and pains from arthritis, and this is the person you're going to. Now, how is it that you can actually feel better when you get these bogus treatments that actually are inert and do absolutely nothing? Well, it's real simple. Typically, when we go see someone, or I don't know if it's typical, but oftentimes when we seek out treatment when we feel really bad. And most of the illnesses we get wax and wane. In other words, most of us have headaches. We don't have headaches all the time. Most of us have a little ache and pain in our back, or maybe we have a little arthritis in our wrist or something, or whatever. And it ebbs and flows. It's most likely not constant. So the likelihood of us seeking treatment is when it's at a higher point. In other words, it gets up to a certain point, we say, well, we're going to go get some old energy healing. Okay. So we leave the energy healers. Maybe we feel a little better right away because of what I've already talked about, the placebo effect or something. Now, let's just say a week later, all of our pain is gone. Who are we going to give credit to? Are we going to give credit to the energy healer who waved their hands over us, or are we going to give credit to some medication that our doctor may have given us 2 or 3 days ago, anti-inflammatory or something for the arthritis? You take a guess who you're going to do. The other problem is once we've invested money in these people, in other words, once we've been going to Peggy Sue, the energy healer, for 2 years, giving her $60 a month or $30 a week or whatever we're giving her, we now have money built up in this thing, And it's going to be kind of hard for us to all of a sudden say, this is all BS. That's going to be really hard. It truly is. I've talked about confirmation bias before. And I'm sure you guys know what that is. And that's basically, we confirm because of our biases. In other words, let me see what kind of example I can give you on this. Let's just say that for whatever reason we've been to an energy healer 100 times, and let's just say legitimately, whatever that means, we felt better 10 times out of the 100. Now, in order for us to continue to go, even though sometimes we have doubts whether it's doing any good, and occasionally we may even have doubts if the whole thing makes any sense, the only way we can continue going is this confirmation bias. And all that's doing is the days that we feel as though we may have felt better is we confirm that. And what we do is we deny all the times we came in, we had these treatments, which are of course inert and do absolutely nothing, and we ignore the fact that we didn't feel better. Then some of the other things that happen really with these treatments is sometimes you might go in and feel pretty crummy, and you might call the treatment person a couple days later and say, I really feel like crap still. And what they could say is, and may say, and most likely will say, is, gosh, sometimes it takes more than one treatment. Now, keep in mind, you most likely are not going to these people because you were in an auto accident and you have blood spurting out of you. You most likely aren't going to them for that, although I'm sure some people out there might try. You're most likely going to them for things that are, in the overall scheme of things, hopefully pretty benign. In other words, that regardless of what they do, which is not going to help you a bit, you're going to get better sometime, because whatever it is most likely going to wax and wane, up and down, up and down. So one of the things they could say is, yeah, you need more than one treatment. The other thing, oh gosh, sometimes it gets worse before it gets better. It's all BS kind of stuff. But, that keeps you coming back most likely. I don't know if I've really answered, responded appropriately or what have you to Lucas's comment, but I guess that's sort of what I wanted to say about what he had commented about. How is it his wife felt better when even he doesn't believe that acupuncture is of any value and does any good? So I'll let it close for now. Now, this fellow, I don't know if you can see this. This I got downloaded from Quack Watch, and the title is, by the way, you get to Quack Watch just like it sounds, QUACKWATCH.com. You might have to put the www, I'm not sure, but anyway, there's tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff, and if you haven't been there before, you really need to go there. I mean, they have stuff on everything, and you really need to go there. Now let's see what old Barry says here. Anyway, let me read you a little bit. Many dubious methods remain on the market primarily because satisfied customers offer, testimonials to their worth. Essentially, these people say, quote, I tried it and I got better, so it must be effective, end of quote. The electronic and print media typically portray testimonials, which that's a testimonial, as valid evidence, but without proper testing it is difficult or impossible to determine whether this is so. Now, here are his reasons. There are at least 7 reasons why people may erroneously conclude that an ineffective therapy works. Number 1, the disease may have run its natural course. We know what that means. Number 2, diseases are up and down. He specifically says such conditions as arthritis, multiple sclerosis, allergies, and gastrointestinal problems normally have ups and downs. Naturally, sufferers tend to seek therapy during a downturn on any given cycle. In this way, a bogus treatment will have repeated opportunities to coincide with upturns that would have happened anyway. And then, of course, he mentions the placebo. The other thing he says is people who hedge their bets give the bets credit the wrong thing. If improvement occurs after someone has had both alternative and science-based treatment, the fringe practice often gets the disproportionate share of the credit. Here's a good one. The original diagnosis or prognosis may have been incorrect. In other words, your doctor may have diagnosed you with something that, maybe you didn't have or something. The other thing is number 6, temporary mood improvements may be confused with cure. And that oftentimes the patient is just caught up in this whole process. This, as I had mentioned, ritual, or whatever term you want to use. I keep glancing at my watch. Anyway. Number 7, psychological needs can distort what people perceive and do. So this is, if you have an interest in this, there is tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff out there. But a good place to start, as I said, is with Quackwatch. And I want to thank Dr. I'm sorry, what is his name? Dr. Beierstein for posting this there. Oh well. I guess that's about it. I hope, Lucas, that at least responded somewhat to what you had said about your wife going to the acupuncturist, and that she claims she felt better. And even though you felt as though, or feel as though, acupuncture doesn't work, your question was posed, how is it that my wife can feel as though she's better? Anyway, I hope I have at least responded to that. Maybe I surely don't claim to have all the answers by any stretch of the imagination. And if anybody out there would like to comment negatively, be glad to hear those too. But anyways, as Pat Condell would say, and by the way, Lucas, thanks so much for stopping by on a regular basis. It's truly appreciated. As Pat Condell would say, ladies and gentlemen, watch those alternative photos. You may not be getting what you think you are. Anyway, peace, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.